I got the horse right here. The name is Paul Revere.
Hello, racing fans, and welcome back to another edition of Handicappers Corner, brought to you by the Derby Bar and Grill. I'm Mike Edson with Drew Forster. Going to go through the Sunday, September the 18th race at Hastings. We have 8 races on tap. 2 of them are $100,000 futurities. Got the Sadie Diamond and the Jack Diamond futurity, of course, named after the former track owner, Jack Diamond, and his wife Sadie. And 2 big races on the card.
Yeah, and they went as the 5th and 7th in a really nice allowance race for 3-year-olds squished in between them. So the late pick four. There's
like one weight beginning. There's like 12 of them signed on in that 6th.
So that late pick 4 is a very interesting bet. Keep an eye on that. But the first race on the card is a maiden 12-5 for 2-year-olds going 6.5 furlongs. I went to the 2 Crater Lake. Couple good starts, beaten 4.5 by Aristica, beaten 3 3/4 by Good Luck to You. Never really got involved in the nursery. That was kind of a mess of a race, and did end up running 11th. But Steve was high on this horse early. Now moves to Richard Hamill, drops to 12-5. I like Crater Lake on top. Of the 4, I put in the second Barkeeper. Rico Walcott rides for Dino Condolinios. 3rd in the first 2-year-old race of the year. Had a big break in training in between. I liked him last time. I wasn't the only one. Was favored. I'm not ready to jump off the Barkeeper wagon yet. So I put him in second, and I threw Run Harvey Run out of the Jody Rawson barn. This one's another one coming out of maiden special weights. Takes the blinkers off for Jody Rawson. He's having a spectacular year. Run Harvey Run I put in the 3rd spot. 2-4-3.
Yeah, I went to the Run Harvey Run. It's a guess, but I did. This horse was well backed in his debut at the maiden special weight level, and Hamill liked it over a couple others he could have rode that day. So this horse does have something to him, and I know he didn't fire at all, or he was maybe lost in a pack. I mean, he was obviously in a pack of horses. He wasn't like he was in the AM in his morning trials. Came back again at maiden special weight level, ran okay. It wasn't the worst race in the world, but they're electing to take the blinkers off, and most importantly, dropping in class now for 12-5. I think this horse is going to be a big chance. Romario Saunders has ridden quite a few horses for Jody Rawson, so I think it's not a surprise to see him on the horse, and I think the horse will be pretty alive. Put the 2-horse Crater Lake, I agree with him. This horse ran against stakes horses last time in the nursery, and he had a tough draw wide and didn't get the best of trips. Prior to that, his races were okay. He's got to be alive for 12-5. And I put the 5-horse Classic Victory in for 3rd. Another one that had been mid-pack performer, but I didn't know who to put in for 3rd. It was between that one and the 4-horse Barkeeper. I didn't know who to put in for 3rd, but I do like 3 and 2. I think those are the 2 horses. If you had to put a gun to my head, I think 3 and 2 would be the 2 that I would put in this race. I went 3-2-5 in race number 1. On the second race, maiden $4,000 claimer, sprinting 6.5 furlongs. I ended up on the 7-horse in here. That's Stormy Teen. Continues to blaze the trail in the mornings. He will need to do it in the afternoon, but his race wasn't all that bad last time for a much pricier tag. Does drop down. Jeff's done a lot of work on this horse for Mike Anderson. That's why he is aboard. And I think Stormy Teen over the 3 Sunnies in Command, who made a drop last time to this 11, was a good second. Just unfortunate to run into a PB Bull to run a big race that day, and got fractions his own way. And I put the 2-horse Born a Champ, who finished just in behind Sunnies in Command. Didn't get anything out of his first race. He was walked off. So, last time that was an encouraging, the connections must be going, whew, that was good. We knew he could run a little bit. Yeah. That's good. Nice to see him finish a race. And that was a good effort for Frank Barabee. I went 7, 3, and 2, but I think Stormy Teen's going to be pretty. I don't see any speed in here. Stormy Teen's going to get the lead. I just see that happening, 7-3-2.
I like Stormy Teen too, and I like I'm a Better Cause. Those are the 2 horses that come out of that Sunset Drive. Omega Victory, We Found Gold race. So Omega Victory came back to win a maiden special weight that included Victress, who won the Oaks of the day. We Found Gold that came back to win a maiden special weight. Drops over 4,000, leading trainer Mike Anderson. I like Stormy Teen, and I got I'm a Better Cause in the 2nd spot. He wasn't far behind Stormy Teen in that last one. And Pat Jarvis Barnes been doing well lately. He's got nice work coming into this in 48 and 4. Put him in the 2nd spot. And I put Sal for Jon Snow in the 3rd spot. This horse always runs 3rd. He's run 8 times this meet. He's run
6 thirds.
6 thirds. I'll put him in for 3rd again. 7, 4, and 1 for me in the 2nd. On our 3rd race, 2-year-old fillies claiming 12-5, going 6.5 furlongs. I landed on the 3 here, Screamin' Sue. Greg Tracy does a great job with his 2-year-olds. Obviously, he was high on this girl early on. He ran her in a maiden special weight. She was decently backed, pressed the pace, faded, got beat 23 lengths. Comes back now. It's an okay work, but I like the connections. Greg Tracy, Rico Walcott. Greg's always tough for this 2-year-olds. Drops this one in for 12.5 when they thought higher of her earlier on. So I'm going to take a chance on Screamin' Sue in the top spot. I put the 9 Eco Charge, coming out of a good maiden special weight. Only got beat 4.5 behind Mrs. Sport, Mustachio, Bonnie Christine. That was a fairly live race. So I put Eco Charge in the second spot. And I put a first-time starter for Rob Bielker. Rob having another very good year, most notably winning the Oaks the other day with Victress. First-time starter here. Mardi Gras, Mabel, Rob spots at Sourcewell. Yes, they're in for 12.5. I went 3, 9, and 1.
Yeah, I didn't like this race. It's just one of those races where you really tough to make a strong opinion and a strong,
strong footing
any
on anybody
particular
here.
horse. I went to the 2 Such a Bargain. Not a clever pick. The horse runs second at this level 2. Starts back, has speed, went blinkers on, ran well. The connections opted to run her for a little more money last time, and she ran, tried to chase the pace and ran well back. But she's back in where she's more effective at the 12.5 level. So I'm going to try her to win it. And Antonio Reyes will ride for Mark Colucci. And I put the 9 horse Eco Charge. Well, this horse ran a pretty good race in a maiden special weight against Mrs. Sport, going 3.5. Horse didn't break well. It showed some pretty good speed in its works, and then didn't break well, and then ran on reasonably well at the end. But I like the 101 flat work. That's pretty good for this caliber, and just thought that one might be worth a look. And I put the 6 horse Color Money in for third. But you can make a case for a lot of horses in here. I didn't pick Screamin' Sue, but I could see the horse winning, or even Mardi Gras.
Lemonade, we both left, just ran second for 25. She's got to be tough in here.
2, 9, and 6 for Mikey Boy in the third. On the 4th race, maiden special for the 2-year-old colts. A lot of 2-year-old races today. We got like 5 of the 8 or 2-year-old
baby
races.
Day.
It is, the youngsters are carrying the meat right now. We're going 6 furlongs here. I ended up on the 6 horse Salzburg. Pretty impressed with his first up run. Had to chase some pretty fast fractions last time before succumbing late to the probable favorite, or one of the choices in the Futurity and All Under Control. So I went Salzburg over the 4 horse Prettier Than You, a filly that will go in blinkers. After an okay run in her debut in a stake race, Yukon Bell won that day. And she was given a lot to do, but I think she raced pretty greenly. But she worked with blinkers the other day and worked really well, a minute and change. That was a good work. I watched her work. She split horse. She was a good work for Prettier Than You, and Amadeo was aboard for that work. And I put the 1 horse, or the 8 horse, Colonel Kevin in for third. The first up run was good. Second one, not so much, but still I think the horse has it in him to rebound. But I really like the 6 Salzburg and the 4 Prettier Than You. I thought those were the 2 that have the best chances to move forward off of their first races. And I don't know how much value they're going to possess, but I think they won't be the chalk. So I went 6, 4, 8.
I went to the 1 Classic Statement for trainer Keith Peterson. I thought a very good race in her first start against Straight Remark, who came back to win the sale stake. Then last time, Selena Morales broke his pedals. The irons broke, so he lost his pedals. Kept riding, though. She was 3-1 that day. Only got beat 4 lengths and basically just lost all chance. I think she'd have been right there that day. So I'm going back to her out of the very speedy Classic Alley Cat. I've got Classic Statement on top of Salzburg. I agree with you. Dino's horse near looks to be a handful coming out of that All Under Control race.
That's a good race. Because the inside 5 are fillies and the outside 4, I think, are colts.
Yeah.
I don't have my glasses on, but I think it's
right.
5 fillies on the inside and the 4 boys getting on the outside.
Yeah, they split them up, kind of. And the third spot, I put Slicky Boy. A good race, only got beat 2 lengths in his first start behind Mrs. Sport. Bonnie Christine, that same Mustachio race. Richard Hamill sticks with him. I went 1, 6, and 9 in the 4th. On to the 5th, the boys race. Jack Diamond Futurity, 6.5 furlongs, 100 grand. Field of 9 in here. I went to 3 All Under Control. You've heard him talking about it a fair bit throughout this weekend's card, as we do have a lot of baby races. Couldn't have been more impressive in his first start. He's a full brother to Power Corrupt, who won this race last year. Broke his maid by almost 6 at first asking. Top connections, Mike Anderson, Richard Hamill. He's going to be a handful in here. I love All Under Control. He's my top pick. I put Straight Remark coming off a nice win in the sale stake in the 2nd spot. And I put Kermode, who Hamill takes off of.
It's Kermode.
Kermode.
It's
sorry.
Kermode. No, it's all right. Dan had to be corrected.
just gets beat.
Kermode, it's a bear.
3/4 of a length. Oh, is that right?
The Kermode bear. Yeah.
He could be a bear in here. Only got beat 3/4 of a length in the sale stake. And Pat always does a good job with the 2-year-olds. Amadeo Perez, who was the hot jock last week.
Yes, he was. Wow, he won everything last week.
Does ride for Pat Jarvis, so I like that move. 3, 6, and 1 for me.
I agree with the 3 all under control. That was a pretty impressive maiden score. I know this is a tougher test. There's some nice horses in here, but there could be some speed to run at. I think he has the right running style. I just think the pace is going to be warm, and he's just going to be back in reserve early and make a good run and maybe win it. I think the 2-horse Driller should be in play. I
left Driller out, and that could be a mistake. I
thought
Driller,
a good run, he broke his maiden, then he came back and I thought ran a good race behind Assets Included, who was not eligible for futurity, which is why he wasn't in it. But I thought a pretty good runner-up effort there. Wasn't eligible to the sale stake, so he wasn't. That's why he's had a little bit of time off, but he's been working steadily. So obviously everything going well. Silvino Morales rode straight remark to a stakes win, but does end up on Driller.
Yeah.
So that's I know the riders and agents make wrong decisions sometimes, but usually they're in the they can get a good feel and can do things right. But I'm gonna put the 2 over the 6. I think straight remark looked pretty good winning last time and very game. I think he did as much as he needed to do to win. He was ultra game in winning. I went 3-2-6 though, but once again, all interchangeable. It's pretty nice horses here in the futurity as always. On to the 6th race, optional 25. Speaking of nice horses, optional 25 for 3-year-olds, non-2 allowance, non-3 BC bred. They're going to go 6.5 furlongs.
This could be your all-button race.
It's expensive though.
It's expensive, but it's a tough race.
There's 12 of them signed on. Our Triple Charm didn't get into the race. The filly, actually, there's a couple fillies. McDubb's a filly in this race as well. But I went to the 8 Colterberry. I just see a lot of speed in here. I see Omega Victory going, BC Charlie. Circus Ride, both Cindy Krasner runners, Tizigogo are fast. I just can't see the pace not being, or Dashing Dawn even, I can't see the pace not being a little warm, and I just think Colterberry, who sprinted very well at this level 2 starts back, and even wasn't disgraced in his last run in the Derby trial, so I just think this horse is pretty live in here. I know it does lose Dennis Arrojo, but still Colterberry I think is pretty live. Put the 11-horse Sunset Drive, a long shot in for second. This horse broke his maiden for 12.5. It was one of the liver maiden races we've seen at the meeting.
Yes,
as Omega Victory ran second, who came out to defeat Victress. We Found Gold won a maiden allowance. There were a lot of people cheating there in that 12.5 claimer. And there's been a couple more win out of that particular Sunset Drive race. Then he had a wide trip in his first try going along. He still fought on well to Dashing Dawn, who had route races under his belt. And the pace wasn't super strong, but he was just wide the entire trip. I just think he's going to get a good... I wanted off-the-pace horses in this race. Yeah. I don't want a speed horse. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll handicap the race totally wrong, and a speed horse will run away and hide and win the money. And then Colterberry and Sunset Drive are in big trouble if the pace scenario isn't warm. But I'm handicapping the race is going to be run pretty quickly early. I put the 7 Dashing Dawn in for third, claim for 2 bits by Jim Brown. Ran a stake, flopped, but he's back in for the 2 bits. Gets leading rider Richard Hamill, so I put him in for third. Good race, though. There's a lot going on here. I left BC Charlie out, Mr. Showbiz, the 2 Cindy Krasner. There's a lot of nice Power Corrupt, who just beat older horses. Yeah. It was a conditional race. But, I mean, there's a lot going on in this race, and I just handicapping for a fast pace, and I went 8, 11, and 7.
This is a tough one. I went with Colterberry as well. Amadeo Perez rides, as I mentioned. Amadeo is on a heat streak right now, and I like his style. That move 2 back where he defeated Mighty Mason Circus Ride was impressive. Came from the clouds and won, going away.
He had a tough trip that day, too. Yeah. He was compromised by other horses. He was a lot the best in that sprint.
So, and I think Amadeo will suit him very well. I went Colterberry on top of BC Charlie, who last time we saw him here ran second in the Stellar J on BC Cup Day, just behind Lord Vancouver and ahead of Stanton Command, who came back to run third in the Derby the other day. Then he went out to the Canadian Derby. That's a tough ship. I just throw that race out. I hope he rebounds well out of that. I got him in the second spot. Obviously, Reyes had choices in here. He lands on BC Charlie. And I put the 5, McDove, in for third. The girl, I didn't want to leave her out. I've always liked this filly. A good second behind Chianti. Only got beat 1.5 lengths by Snuggles in the Emerald Downs. Been off for a while. Mark's having a good year. She's been training forwardly for this. Gets in light with the Bug Boy. Steve McDonald's McDove, I put in for third. 8, 3, and 5 for me in the 6th. On to the 7th, girls' turn, the Sadie
Diamond.
Diamond Futurity. Big field of 8 in here, and that's why I land on the 8. Yukon Bell couldn't have been more impressive in her first start for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, coming from off the pace to win fairly comfortably in the sale stake over some fillies that have been racing and accomplished fillies like Anstrom, and did it fairly easily. That was going 6.5. She gets to go right back to 6.5 by Drosselmeyer, well within her comfort zone. I love Yukon Bell in this race. I put Anstrom in the 2nd spot. She didn't have a great trip, still only got beat a length and a quarter behind Yukon Bell last time, and she didn't have a great trip. Mm-hmm. She could be a little bit closer today.
A little trouble at the quarter pole.
A little trouble at the quarter pole. You know, she's already twice stakes place in a young career for Peter Redicott, and Amadeo Perez is aboard her. I got her in the 2nd spot. And I put Sherry Sugar Rice, who was a fairly impressive maiden breaker in her own start. Lone start, I should say, for Todd Mountain Thoroughbreds, Mike Anderson, and David Lopez. Lopez sticks with her, and why not? 1 start, 1 win. Yeah. I'm going to go back to her. I went 8, 3, and 4.
Yeah, I agree. Yukon Bell's going to be, I think, very tough to beat. Looked pretty impressive in winning. Reyes really didn't overuse her in winning the race either. I think he tapped her once, and she looked like a good filly that day. But still, they're 2-year-olds, and you need to progress. And she did work well the other day, but she'll need to be at her best to defeat a nice filly like Anstrom, who was compromised at the quarter pole. But I'm biased, obviously.
I don't know.
There shouldn't have been a change.
Was she going to beat her? I don't know.
I mean, she had every shot to get in there. She couldn't get in there, and then did. Once she's tearing away from her, have to check off the heels. But then she closed up late and ran again. She's a nice filly, Anstrom. She's done well this year. Not surprising. She's well bred, and she's going to continue to do good. She'll be really good in the fantasy too when they go a mile and a 16, because she doesn't have a lot of speed, which is a little bit of a hindrance for her in this particular race. And I put the 5 Spirit Bay. Pretty impressed with this one.
Yeah, she ran good last time.
He's just having nothing's talking about people having great seasons.
Yeah.
Nothing's gone wrong for Phil this year.
They're all running.
Going good. Dennis Arrojo riding well. Nice runner-up effort last time. Did have the race under her belt. And, did lose to Yukon Bell, but still, I thought she ran pretty game all the way to the wire. I thought those are your 3 horses. I went 8, 3, and 5 in the Sadie Diamond Futurity. On to the 8th and final event. $4,000 fillies and mares here, going a mile and a 16th, non to Lifetime. I ended up on the 3-horse Go-Go Eileen. I see some speed in here. I think she's going to get set up. I see the 4-horse Angel of Victory going, the 5 Yankee Doodle Audrey, even the 8 Sweet Home showing a bit of speed. That's all it takes in this division. It's just a little bit of speed, and these horses will, fail in the last 1/8 of a mile. Go-Go Eileen had a tough trip 2 back when losing to Whippoorwill Song. She might have been best that day, but last time I thought a pretty good effort, and defeated Flaming Youth, and Dennis Arrojo will take over. Go-Go Eileen to defeat the 5, the Yankee Doodle Audrey, who is coming back on short notice, but still a horse that could be live going along. She certainly woke up last time. I put the 1 Whippoorwill Song, who was checked repeatedly in behind horses, and I don't know what, but she didn't run a race. She's better than that. She didn't run like the filly that won easily 2 starts back. Reyes will be in the irons this time. I went 3, 5, and 1. Not a race you can love anyone, but these aren't your most loyal.
No, and you could tell we got different.
They're most inconsistent on the grounds, and then they're tough to really.
Tough to get a read on these ones.
Confident about anyway. I went 3, 5, 1.
I got different horses. I went with Angel's Victory for Darryl Stewart, Amadeo Perez. I thought a good race last time.
It was a good race.
Behind Touch of Green, set the early fractions. Touch of Green looked good winning that day. Beho Auger got up and got her for 2nd. Moves now to Amadeo Perez. I like that move. I got Angel's Victory on top of Whippoorwill Song, who demolished the fields of maiden $4,000 fillies 2 starts back. Then her first start, which you see a lot of times, her first start against winners.
But she checked him.
Didn't really go her way.
She lost her. Oh, it was tough.
So toss that race out.
Tried to get it too close to the pace.
I like Antonio Reyes aboard her, and I put Sweet Home in the 3rd spot. Only got beat 2.5 in that same race. So all coming out of that Touch of Green race. 4, 1, and 8 for me in the nightcap. That'll do it for our analysis of Futurity Day, the Sunday card. Up next on screen will be our picks. Mike, as always, you're up first.
Yep, back in race number 1. I go to the 3. Run, Harvey, run. I got to go 3-2-5. Not a great. Once again, there's some tough races this time. It's a tough card. Anytime you got 2-year-olds, they're eligible to improve or get worse or whatever. It's really difficult when you have 2-year-olds in play. They're not the most consistent. They don't have a lot of form to go on, so it is still a little bit of a guessing game. I went 3-2-5 in the Sunday opener. Race number 2, I went to the 7. Stormy Teen, 7-3-2. Race number 3, I went to the 2, Such a Bargain. Over the 9, Eco Charge, and the 6, Color of Money. And race number 4, more 2-year-olds, the 6, Salzburg. Over the 4, Prettier Than You, and the 8, Colonel Kevin. Race number 5, the first of our 2 stakes races. The 3, all under control for leading trainer Mike Anderson. 3, 2, and 6. Race number 6, good allowance event. Went to the 8, Colterberry, 8, 11, and 7. 8, 11, 7 for me, tough allowance race. Yeah. 7th race, the City Diamond Futurity. Yukon Bell looks the best to me. I went 8, 3, and 5, and in race number 8, I went to the 3, Go Eileen, to try and get runner-up wins, or back-to-back wins for her. 3-5-1 for me in the finale.
On to my picks, there we go. Back in the first, I went to the 2, Crater Lake, over the 4 and the 3. In the second, I agree with Mike on 7, Stormy Teen, over the 4 and the 1. In the third, I went to the 3, Screamin' Sue, over the 9 and the 1. In the fourth, number 1, Classic Statement, over the 6 and the 9. In the fifth, I agree with Mike. In the next 3, the big ones, number 3, All Under Control, over the 6 and the 1. In the 6th, number 8, Colterberry, over the 3 and the 5. And in the 7th, number 8, Yukon Bell, over the 3, Anstrom, and the 4, Sherry Sugar Rush. Then in the nightcap, I go to the 4, Angels Victory, over the 1 and the 8.
All right, thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. We really appreciate you taking time out of your day to scroll and look at us online, and hopefully we've given you a little insight into the Sunday afternoon program. Once again, first race at 1:50. Our next live cards will be next Saturday and Sunday, September 24th and September 25th. We will have probably 50 more races for you the next weekend, 7 on the Saturday and 8 on the Sunday. Kind of the game plan for the next little while, but.
First post, 150 as always.
150 as always. On behalf of Drew, thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the Futurities on Sunday. It should be an excellent afternoon. Hopefully the weather holds. We'll see you next time here at the Derby Bar and Grill for Handicappers Corner.